Welcome to the Cobx Masters Grand Dota Final!
I know. Are you guys excited?
I think they're excited.
They are.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen now? I mean, we're going to play the games, and you guys are going to watch. We're going to watch. It's going to be full of action-packed feeding and defending and pushing going on. I want the games to start so badly.
Yeah, me too. I think we should just get to it. I think we should just introduce the teams, you know?
Should we get to that? No, I don't feel the hype yet. I just don't feel the hype yet.
They don't deserve it. They don't deserve the teams yet.
Are you guys ready for the grand finals? Mumbai, come on! अरे यार इसे नहीं चलेगा फिर से जोर से Are you guys ready for the grand finals, Mumbai? That's more like it.
I think they earned it. I think they deserve the teams to come on stage now.
Should we go?
Yeah, I think we should.
All right. Please welcome on stage Team Detonator!
With these guys on stage, we get to meet their opponents. You just saw them, but you want to see them again. Can I hear a roar for Team Tigers?
All right, before we get started,
Wrong team.
we've been practicing this on stage, backstage. You know what to do, right? I don't have to. Keep your eyes here.
What are you doing?
Hey, I'm talking to you guys.
Don't threaten my players. Don't do that.
Fly solo. What do you want to say to Team Tigers? Oh, check out the eye trash talk. No trash talk, the eye trash talk. No, once again, come on. You got to do it in slow motion.
Oh,
Oh my god. Look at that.
I'm kind of scared. I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm just gonna. No.
Yeah, he's ready. Look at it. Look at 1437. He's giving you the death stare, man. I can't take it. Oh.
Are you gonna let this stand? Are you gonna let them just give you the stink eye and not say anything about it?
Well, we're tigers, and I feel like I'm looking at a bunch of kittens, so.
Oh!
Holy moly. What do you guys, guys, we need a comeback, man. We need a comeback.
Even your taller, we're better, stronger.
Did you hear that?
I didn't hear that. I actually didn't.
Once again.
Was that English?
Whoa!
Even where you're, even your tigers, we're lions.
Even if you guys are tigers, we're lions, they say.
Is that better?
That doesn't make sense, though. How are we lions? Guys, you look absolutely cool, though. Anything else you want to say before we start the game?
Easy game.
Easy game!
All right. Your final
Got
words
anything?
before the game starts, 1437?
Oh, I don't really care who we're playing against. I'm just here to play some Dota. So, can I hear a big, roar from the crowd for us?
That's more like it. All right, let's get the game started. All right, you guys can go
Feel
ahead.
free
Thank
to go
you,
to your
guys.
seats now. Get ready for the game.
Good luck. I heard some chanting, but it died. Okay, Mumbai, once again. Are you guys ready? No. That's not gonna cut it. One more time. Mumbai, are you guys ready for the grand finals? Yes,
That's
that's
much
more
better.
like it. Okay, all yours. Let the
All
games
right.
begin.
Thank you. Thank you, Pin the Panda. And, I am just so excited for these games that I can't just leave the stage now, So I am going to join our beautiful analyst panel. I'm going to get to be closer to this Shane. Just fantastic time. And I'm going to get to analyze this game in front of all of you guys so we can watch who's going to win that beautiful trophy. On to you, Shane.
Thank you very much. Usually we have a bit of a break when you come to the panel from you, but today is not the case. Welcome to the grand finals at the Cobx Masters. These teams are competing for $100,000, and it's going to be hype. The smack talk, on the other hand, it maybe needs a bit of work.
Yeah, if we would just go by that, we'd have to play a lot more games to really get a feel on who's actually gonna
Let's settle this debate really quickly. Is a tiger stronger than a lion?
No.
No, the lions.
They're both pretty
Lions
ferocious.
sleep all day.
honestly.
So
Yeah.
you can kill anything that's sleeping, right?
Smart.
Yeah,
That's smart. I don't think lions can even climb trees.
that's actually true.
Useless animals.
Maybe they
actually.
just don't want to. Like,
All
maybe
right,
they're just lazy.
Let's bring on the Dota boys, right? We have Tigers versus Detonator. On your initial kind of feeling, like, gut feeling, who do you think is going to win and why? Just quick, straight.
I want to say Detonator. I feel like they got the number somehow, and we also saw Signify expose some weaknesses in Tigers that Detonator can easily exploit, or easily, quote, right?
If
As
we-
easy as it can be for teams of this caliber.
If we just look at the group stage and we look
Yeah.
how Detonator played, they destroyed everyone. Like I
Yeah.
didn't mean to do that pun, but it was pretty rough. And then we look at Tigers; they kind of maybe struggled a little bit more, right? We even in the last series we saw like quite a few mistakes.
You're right. They did make a couple mistakes, but their overall strength really comes off in the playoffs. Like the first game of that series was really good for Tigers. They have Raven, and let's be honest, that guy has been consistent every single game I've seen him. That Terrorblade is genuinely so much of a threat that it doesn't matter if he's mad or not. You ban him anyway. I think Tigers actually might have this.
Yeah. All right, we got a bit of a split panel. I like it. Let's talk about players then. Let's focus on, for example, Ben Hur in the mid lane from Detonators. He's impressed me a lot. He has quite a very, very wide hero pool. And is there anything that stands out, like player-wise, for you guys? Because he's my go-to.
He's your go-to. It's kind of hard because again, so many of these players are so good at what they do. Kind of want to highlight Fly Solo though on the side of Detonator. It feels like he's the cog in the backline that makes everything else work, right? He's playing these heroes that, like Oracle, like Grimstroke, things that set up or save, or he has such a wide hero pool as well that you can fit him wherever you need him to be in the draft, and he's always going to deliver.
I think that the wide hero pool, as you mentioned, is a really important factor here because I would say the enemy mid here does not have such a wide hero pool. So you can actually play around with that, perhaps ban around mid heroes because you know you always have a hero that you're somewhat comfortable with. But if you ban his heroes, it's not going to be that easy to play.
That's true. That's true. You're talking about Dendi. For just to clarify.
Yeah, yes.
It's all right. It's all right. And then I don't know. When I look at like specific heroes talking about that, Detonators seem to focus on the Shadow Shaman a lot. We were ranting and raving about that hero a lot this tournament, but it really seems to be the core of their strategy. First picking it in many cases. Do you think it's worth the ban? Do you think we might see a ban?
I think so. Like, even if just to get a little bit of the
Biased
course.
crowd right here.
Of course. I mean, it's Dendi, right? You gotta cheer for
That's
him,
true,
no matter
that's
what
true.
happens. But back to the point. I think just to take it off, just to see something else, just to force something else out of it, because we've seen so much Shadow Shaman in this tournament already, that gets more and more ingrained into the players' heads of, okay, this is what this hero can do.
Yeah.
This is how we need to play against them. And
But it's the same way if you're playing with it all the time. You're like, okay, let's push with our Shadow Shaman wars. You're like, oh crap, they actually banned Shadow Shaman. We don't have a Shadow Shaman on our team, boys. Panic stations. What about like play style matchup? It seems like Detonators seem to just kind of have this like well executed plan from the get go, even in the draft, and they just follow through and execute. Where Tigers, like for example, that last game we saw of them, it didn't seem as well defined, shall we say?
There's a strength in Detonator from the fact that they're from the same region. I think that's often overlooked. Tigers is obviously an international team, and that gives you other perspectives, but it means that you're not always on the same game plan because you're not used to the same kind of pubs, the same kind of competitive. Whereas Detonator, I mean, it's SCA. They know how to play the aggressive style. They know how to play the, I guess, caveman style, as they used to call it.
Yeah.
And that gives them a special strength over Tigers, that they might be a bit more coordinated on the same page in that sense. They could definitely take advantage of that.
What do you think, Dragon Drop?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like at the end of the day, it's going to come down to control. Like, control the early game, control the lanes, move on from there. Just make sure that you get everything that you want on your heroes, and then bam, you go in, you take a team fight, you snowball immediately onto the high ground. Just don't give the enemy team room to breathe. And I think Detonator has really got that down. I think they have a couple of strategies that they can go to execute along those lines.
I just cannot wait to see what Sam H plays. I really want one of these aggressive, in-your-face style heroes. It just suits him so much, and it's a pleasure to watch it, honestly. Like, what was it, TI5, I want to say? I'm just going out on a limb here. I actually got to remember it. They all kind of blurred into one. But he was playing Axe, and I still remember, like, he just annihilated, like, took over the entire game on his Axe. And he has that ability on these kind of playmakers. Now, do you want to see that kind of like in-your-face, aggressive kind of Axe, Night Stalker, Sand King, or do you still feel like the way to play it is, get this Dark Seer, get the auras? Which style do you favor?
Well, you were talking about the Shadow Shaman pick earlier, and if a Shadow Shaman pick does get through, and whoever team picks it, Night Stalker is a particularly good hero to kind of stop that shackles from coming out. You kind of force him to go for an ether lens if you actually want to do anything in a team fight, or essentially Hex and snakes. And that's one of the strengths you can play around with. There's a lot more. I think both teams have a pseudo-aggressive style, and you can kind of play around with the picks there, see what counters you can get. I think both teams should play aggression, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's going to come down to the draft a little bit for Sam H in particular, because when you have a carry hero on the other side, where you think, all right, he's going to take a lot of time to get online, then you can just easily go for a hero like Darkseer, because you don't always actively contest the lane. More often than not, you just go into the back, drag the creep wave to a neutral camp, and you farm even more. Flip side is the carry will get farm. He will get all the last hits under the tower. But if that's something that you can afford, then you're still going to end up with a Darkseer that hits a very early mech timing. So,
Okay. I'm interested to see what Dendi can pull out. We did see the TA. We did see the Shadow Fiend. What else has he got in his arsenal, lads?
Well, it's hard to tell because these picks weren't particularly meta, right?
No,
So
yeah.
I wonder if the Tigers are so confident in his ability, because obviously experienced player, he knows how to play the mid lane. Maybe you're going more for the comfort picks, so we might see picks that are less orthodox here. It's definitely going to be
we have
an
a draft
important match.
available, actually. It's right beneath us. All right, the Shadow Shaman first ban.
There's
Get
a Shadow
rid of
Queen
it.
as well. All the Shadow heroes being taken out.
Okay, now that's interesting. Like exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah.
These kind of staple heroes that they always go to being banned out initially. Enigma from Tigers. It's kind of an unusual one. I don't think I've seen an Enigma this entire tournament.
No, but it's one of these heroes that's just really annoying to play against. It's always going to get farmed. It's also last hero remaining that can deny you carry farm, right? But with the
Yep.
the Eidolons, they got taken away from Lich, but Enigma still has that ability. So it's you are basically a lot more efficient across the map with that hero, and it can be kind of tough to play against.
Interesting. Rubik and Centaur now. Centaur for Detonator. We did see Tigers pull off the Centaur to
It's very
great
useful.
effect earlier.
The Stampede, if you're playing aggressively, is just a great tool. You can initiate with it, you can run away with it. It's very versatile, and we can see Tigers knows how to play the hero as
Yeah.
well, right? Tanky offlaner.
And even late game with the Aghanims and the Refresher Shard, like we saw in
Yeah.
the game, like your team is unkillable for like 6 seconds. It's insane.
Yeah.
Okay, Leshrac, last ban from Detonator here.
Yeah, Leshrac is one of these heroes that's been quite popular in the SEA region in the games that I've casted. It's one of these heroes that has this super early push available, like the Shadow Shaman, right? Even earlier, because it's attached to the Edict. So again, Detonator, they want to be the ones in control of the game, and if you have the ability to take these early towers, it can be super freaking easy to actually lose that control, because all it takes is one hero going down. Next thing you know, the tower is gone. You can't go to the lane anymore. Well, not safely anyway.
What do you think the first pick's going to be? Like, if we look at favorite heroes at the moment, like they actually banned all the supports. They banned Rubik, they
Yeah.
banned Shadow Shaman. They go for Nature's Prophet. Oh,
Is it Nyx Assassin time finally?
Oh, I actually forgot about him. He snuck through.
True, right?
Tigers opened up with the Nature's Prophet in the first game of their series, right?
Yeah.
In the semifinals.
And Nyx is kind of one of these heroes that traditionally is quite decent against Nature's Prophet, just running him down or trying to wait for him when he's going for the split push plays at least.
They go for Venge.
Just Venge, alright.
Just having the vision is always helpful, right? The
Yeah.
Wave of Terror is extremely effective later on in the game. And Tigers do favor it on 1-4-3-7
Yeah.
too, right?
That's, I think, a good reason as well, like a block pick of sorts, because
Yeah.
we saw how good 1-4-3-7 is with him. It combines nicely with Nature's Prophet, a lot of physical damage, and the pushing that we were talking about. It offers a bit of pushing power. It's a good safe pick as well in the early game. There's no way you can really counter that.
Yeah.
Instead of Venge, right?
It's like, why even bother, right?
You can also go a number of different ways from this. Like you can go towards the puck, have a bit of a combo with the swap, or you can go for some sort of minus armor strat. They can also take Roche very early. So it's a really good first pick, really good basis for the rest of your draft.
I actually like Lion a lot, or Shadow Shaman with the Venge. Just they go for your poke though.
Oh.
Nicely played.
That was my one correct prediction. Save the quarterfinals for you guys. You're welcome.
I like it though. It is really powerful.
Yeah.
Their team is extremely mobile now. It adds a lot of catch. It's difficult as well. You can outlane it. Like, what kind of matchups would you want to play into poke? Like, actually, you could play it in the offlane too, right? They could swap poke to the offlane. It's still versatile.
Sorry.
If you wanted to lane against the poke, mid lane, what matchup would you pick?
I don't know, because I'm actually not sure in Detonator what lane they're going to play him to begin with.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
The offlane puck is actually not bad at all here. I mean, we've even seen support puck recently, right? But the offlane puck, because of the wave clear he offers for nature, so he farms really easily. I think giving him the mid lane is not really necessary here, because the puck will recover anyway with the Treants, because of his wave clear. He farms quite quickly. And in the mid lane, you might want to pick a stronger hero that you can get a good matchup with. Detonator might prioritize the early game, especially. We talked about the aggressive style, right? So
Yep.
puck suits that as well.
If you think about the lockdown they're lacking as well in lane, right? You have Terrorblade plus Nature's Prophet. It's not exactly the scariest of lanes, right?
Yeah.
Like for a poke, he just easily jumps away.
Yeah, I think if you pick a core hero like that has that flexibility in the first phase, the draft can kind of go two different ways. Like either the hero gets countered out super hard, so you put him in the lower priority position, in this case the 3-row. Or if the other team says, all right, we're not really worried about that, and maybe it ends up being a good puck mid game in the end, and
You have
can
the
still
option.
Yeah, you still have the option to switch that around at that point. So
I-
you don't. They might not even know themselves right now.
I love the Terrorblade pick actually a lot, right? If you think
Yeah.
about the heroes that pair up well with Venge, naturally, it's all these Agi heroes that do not want to play into Terrorblade, right? So the kind of counter pick indirectly, like it's cool.
you can't really go for a physical damage strat here against Terrorblade too much.
Yep.
You can't lean onto that side. Also, of course, I mean, Raven, Terrorblade, we love seeing that. It does show confidence, though. Picking a Terrorblade as the second pick when it's not particularly the most meta hero, and against the puck as well, you're like,
Yep.
I don't care. This guy can play him. We'll do well.
Also, I forgot to mention, when you Q the Venge, you also get the aura as well on
It's
top,
true.
right? It's kind of amazing for the hero.
I don't know. I feel like Terrorblade, whenever I see him, he just the game goes late and they just win. Right?
Seems
so
pretty
weird to
solid.
me.
Let's
Yeah.
just end this now, right?
It's in my book, it's one of the best late game carries in the game. It's not impossible to play against him, but if you mess up, he sunders, and all of a sudden you lost a team fight.
So they actually, picking a second, you said, is kind of risky in one way, but in another, you can guarantee, look at their bans. They ban Morph and Darkseer, two of the best counters against it. So in one way, it's kind of risky, but in another, you secure his game a little bit, right?
Yep. You also force the enemy team because, as you said, it's such a scary late game pick that it kind of forces your mentality here. You're thinking, right, we need to either play earlier mid game because trying to face him in late game is too difficult. We're trying to cancel him in the lane. How do we do that? Now you're thinking your strategy, and this puts a lot of psychological pressure as a drafter when you just see this pick and you go, I know it's happening. It's Raven picking this Terrorblade. How do I stop Raven, please? Oh, Ember's an option.
Yeah, Ember's definitely an option. The lack of lockdown we spoke about earlier. Now you have these two extremely mobile heroes to deal with.
The lane clear is nice as well against Nature's Prophet and Illusions, obviously. You have the, obviously, magical damage Ember most common, and that's really great against Terrorblade.
Yep.
A bit
Yeah,
of catch.
it's a really good pick. I like Ember these days. People have gone towards this max light to fist build, which is really good in mid just for securing range creeps. Right?
Yeah.
Just secure the last hits, get this low cooldown harassment out, and it also works just as well in the safe lane. Again, the flexibility is there for Detonator right now. Makes it also kind of hard to draft for Tigers, right? Like, okay, never,
Ooh.
maybe not.
Pick the filth. That's the strategy right there. Just get the Viper out, boys.
Yeah, you asked him about Dandy Heroes earlier. Like he's been playing so many different ones, but Viper is one that he's, I believe, played the most, or at least was up there.
Yeah.
Atol's obviously very strong against both of these heroes, right? You're not mobile if you're tied to the ground.
Yeah. And you're also good against magical damage in your Viper.
Yep.
So if you want to pick magical damage Terrorblade, Viper kills you. If you pick physical damage, Terrorblade kills you. So it's a really nice duality where you really can't draft either or. And it's also good tempo controller in the mid game. So you can't really cancel a Terrorblade's farm completely if you have Viper on your team.
I'm a little
Nice
worried
picks.
though. Like when you look at their lineup, still no actual stun,
Yeah, no catch. No.
zero catch, right? And like the Atos kind of fulfills that purpose a little bit.
Stuns are just a crutch for bad players. Tigers are good enough.
Yeah,
That's what they're thinking anyway.
Sleight of fist, phase shift, and even swap. Like,
Yeah.
you can evade that Atos. Not that difficult, honestly.
That is true.
Now Sanking too. I mean, Atos is not going to hit anything except for the poor Venge.
You know, I'm trying. I'm trying my best here. This is kind of different to what we've seen Detonators do before, though, right? They're not necessarily going for this kind of group up and push strategy. It's more of like a chaos, make chaos happen. They still don't have that building hitter at all.
Like, is there a last pick that can fulfill that role still? Or?
All the natural ones are terrible against Terrorblade, right? Like realistically, you know, if you want to go for like a Lycan, which we've seen them doing earlier in the tournament, absolutely god awful against Terrorblade.
The Venge offers a bit of push with the aura. You might.
Come on, mate.
I'm
You're
grasping
stretching
at
things,
straws.
yeah.
They can't take Roshan, they can't push. They need this like last pick that just does it all. Like generally you'd see like a Medusa or something like that, but still it's. What about Arc Warden? What do you think of that hero?
Actually, Arc Warden's pretty strong right now. Ever since the changes they made
Yeah.
to him, he's pretty legit. But Arc Warden with an Ember and a Buck, these guys, part of their beauty is that they can farm quite quickly.
Yep.
Arc Warden starves everything else for farm. He is essentially a Meepo. And you kind of lose the Ember's ability to split push. You have so many split pushers that nobody's really doing a split push effectively. He is good against most of the heroes. He actually beats Viper in lane quite
Yeah.
decently. Quite good range.
He's good
as
against
well.
Terrorblade too.
Yep.
It gives them someone to click ability. That's what I'm worried about here.
Yeah.
Disruptor, eh? A lot of catch there for both the Puck and the Ember.
Static Storm is fantastic here, obviously. You don't really have a setup though. Still, there's no real stun yet, which is
I
quite good.
guess the concept is we just kind of go together and hope someone runs away. When they run away, we get them.
Yeah. kind of vulnerable to BKBs by the Ember perhaps, but I guess you don't really have a staple BKB carry. Yes, on Detonator. Ember might be carry, puck mid, Sand King off lane, and then you don't really have a right-click carry at all. So maybe Tiger is hoping for that kind of lineup.
Possible, possible. Let's see what the last bans are. So what do you need on that? You need a building pusher.
Has to be a core position.
It does. What about Lone Druid? It's like a hero that's naturally good against the Terrorblade. It still fulfills that like frontliner with some building clicking. It still benefits from the aura a little bit.
Yeah, Logan's not bad at all, actually, now you mention it. He can even run against, I mean, most lanes here. It's not, even if they swap lanes around, he's kind of okay against anything. He's a pretty strong laner in general.
They ban Omni.
Actually, that makes sense, though. You don't want the Terrorblade Omni combo.
No. You really don't.
Right. You might ban Lone Druid if you're Tigers, actually, here. Something like that.
What other heroes fulfill that purpose, though?
You could run for a Clinks, perhaps. Not the best against Terrorblade, but if you win early enough so that Terrorblade is not a problem.
That's true. Also, I don't think you really worry about the Terrorblade as much, like, as in killing him. About the reflection, you still worry about that, right?
And the Viper is super vulnerable against the Clinks. Static Storm doesn't really matter because he gets away with a Skeleton Walk before you can actually, kinetic field him in.
Yeah.
You have to dust him essentially, Thunderstrike him. It's not that easy to actually catch a Clinks if you don't have stuns. And the army is fantastic for a mid-game kind of build that you're going for. I actually don't mind that pick too much.
They also have a lot of protection for the Klings, right?
Exactly.
That's the only way to really make him work. Because the moment you get a hold of the Klings,
they do go for the Medusa.
That was some quick last picks there.
Yeah, they knew it.
Well, if you think about how this was going to work, right? They're going to group up as 5, and then Ty just meets them. It's going to be a tough match.
Yeah.
Right, first game of the grand finals of Cobx Masters, lads. Who's going to take it?
I'm going with Detonator. I mean, they have so much more control, so much more mobility across the map as well. And as long as they don't lose pace, as long as they can slow the game down for the Medusa to get big, right? That's really their win condition. And I think they should be able to do that very easily.
I'm going to stick with Tiger, just got on a flip-flop, but it's partially also because Raven's playing Terrorblade. I'm kind of worried about their lack of catch. That's the one thing that I think is going to really...
Okay. Well, with that, we're going to throw it over to Blitz and Cap for our first game of the grand finals of Cobx Masters. Take it away, guys.
Shout out to you, Shane, by the way, for the last pick call of Medusa. Well done for that one. But otherwise, what do you think, Blitz? This game number 1, do you have a favorite in the draft between Detonator and Tigers?
I actually really like Detonator's draft. I think the Ember Spirit... Actually, they changed it, right? So that you can't Manta dodge the glimpse, like it ends no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Can you also not dodge anymore from Fire Remnants? I see Pi in the front. Pi, do you know? He doesn't know. All right, well, I tried.
Damn. If you knew Pi, we would have just pulled you on for a tricast.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we have... I don't know. I feel like they have good initiation. They have good ways around it. I feel like if you're the TB draft, you want to play 4 Protect 1, as in you just push around the map as 4, like walk around, try to get stuff done while your TB just farms. And on the flip side of things, like as a Dusa, like I don't even think Dusa's that bad in this game because, I mean, she was last pick, right? You get to just sit back, fight. You don't get pressured that hard in lane by Viper. I feel like Viper's nowadays just like a trade farm sort of hero.
Yeah, it used to be that Viper was the most contentious of all the mid laners, and now it's just a free lane. He just goes and jungles at some point in time, and you've got a free lane to farm up for the Medusa. So it'll definitely be interesting as we get into the game for the Bounding Rune fight that is happening quite soon. Other than that, are we going to be playing like a lot of 5-man for the Detonators lineup? You think we're just going to like do the thing where we just park Medusa and Tidehunter in front of all these tower pushes?
Yeah, I feel like their lineup just moves really quickly. Like Ember, Puck, Venge, and Sand King can just like go around the map, create space, allow this Dusa to just farm up. And then once you get strong enough, you have Venge aura plus the swap, so you can just kind of sit behind your Dusa, let her walk forward at towers. There's not a whole lot of there's not a whole lot of creep clear on the side of Tigers. Like the only hero really that does that is the Nature's Prophet, right? He can like TP behind and stuff like that, and the TP can cut waves with his illusions. But in terms of your other 3 heroes, they don't really do anything to kill creeps, which is really problematic when you play against heroes like Dusa.
The battle begins.
Train's coming out of the top lane, seeing if they could stop Sam H from grab that bounty rune, but not the case here. Does look like it's just going to be a trade-off of 2 for 2. The Sand King Puck lane. Did you like seeing the Sand King last game? Which was a 1-4-1 build, maxing out of the Sandstorm, just trying to control the lane, pressure the enemy carry, and even farmed a decent amount of neutrals with that build. We could also see maybe a few more levels in Caustic Finale, considering he's matched up against a melee core.
Too bad.
Meanwhile, the bottom lane, Vengeful Spirit going to be babysitting Skem's Ember Spirit against a Disruptor Tide. This looks like, from my perspective anyway, pretty good lane for Tigers.
I think this is a free lane for Tigers. Like, it's really hard to pressure. The Tidehunter can just trade with the Anchor Smash. Until it's like level 5 on Ember, I don't think you actually care about anything that the Ember can do. So if you're an Ember, you're probably just watching the Tidehunter farm, right?
Yeah. And you've always said that Tidehunter is one of those offlaners who just needs to be able to farm non-stop. Starting from the laning phase, but just keep on going all the way through.
Yeah, Bulba was the first one that pointed that out to me. He said, you need a hero that can just kind of, like, he's an initiator for sure, but he also needs to be like top 5 in net worth. Because this hero, without items, you just become a Ravage, and you never really want to become that. You never want to just be the guy who hits Ravage on like maybe one hero, and that's your team fight contribution. Like, hopefully you have more items than that.
And I feel like that's even more the case now with the introduction of, well, a couple of changes, but also some talents. Velo's going to take a lot of damage here at bottom lane.
Scam actually went for the chains. They might have been able to kill the Tidehunter. Would have been like 120 damage. It was actually pretty low, but he in fact waited half a second too long and caught the creeps instead. I mean, Velo's got absolute free farm right now.
Yeah.
And so does Skem, but as an offlaner, you're probably pretty happy about this. And the trade-off is Sam H at top, not having...
We're seeing that Nature's Prophet, even if you have a hero that is supposed to be kind of doing okay against creeps like that. Sand King, it just doesn't seem to matter.
Also, it's
being
a
able to
4
start
puck,
out
by
with
the way.
the orb that I think really breaks the Nature's Prophet, who's going to join for this fight. Solo. Fly Solo is going to go down. PC tried to actually draw the aggro of the neutral creeps to see if he could deny that first blood, but not the case here. 14:37 gets it on the Disruptor.
Yeah, well done. Just to start there, Sam H gonna pop the Sandstorm. And this 4-position puck, I mean, we see it sometimes in NA. MSS plays it here and there, but not super common. I guess they wanted Sand King to just have a little bit more farm. They want to try to push the pace, I think, in this game. Don't just allow Ember or TB to farm out jungle. If you can pressure into the lane, disrupt the pull. Don't allow Raven to just get into the jungle like level 5, hit creeps for free.
Right.
As they might just catch Zephyr here as he's not careful.
14:57 is going to go down pretty quick. Velo can't really challenge him at all, but they can always pick off that support.
Yeah, and Sam H is pinging right now. He does have a mango, but his puck is not near enough as he pulled the creep wave. Sam H gonna double up on this one.
Would have been nice to be able to pull that to like the easy camp and just Sandstorm over. It's one of the ways that certain offlaners like Sand King and Axe just get that extra bit of farm, pulling the creep wave into neutrals, farm up ult.
And this is going to help Sam H's game, but TB, I think, doesn't really care about farming under the tower. Like, he's got notoriously stupid high armor and really good base damage. So he just got every single one of these CS.
Yeah.
And Puck, I think, doesn't pressure hard enough to bother him. So, I mean, he just got 2 waves of creeps completely unpressured. And I understand why Sam H did it. Like, it secures his own level 4. And it makes his life a little bit easier. But I'd imagine in this lane, like, especially if you're not pulling into the neutral camp.
Fly Solo in trouble once again. They don't even need the Nature's Prophet to rotate over.
He's going to have a tough game. Like, you're playing a 5-position Vengeful Spirit against a Tide Disruptor. You can't really harass them. You sort of just watch them farm. The only time that you can really do anything is when you actually go for kills. But kill opportunities are sort of far and few between.
Yeah.
Like, Demon would have to get pretty out of position for them to be able to grab him.
Another 2-2 split. I believe RR did spot that ward being placed by Zephyr.
Yeah, he should know about that. I think part of the reason they placed this ward too is to spot when the Deuced decides to go for the triangle. Because I imagine the way that this happens is Ben-Hur goes 3-0-3 or 3-3-0, then you just go into the jungle, farm, and allow your puck to catch back up and allow him to play like more support.
Oh. Look at this rotation from both supports right as Dendy picks up his level 6. Just a very perfect timing executed by the two of them.
Yeah, and that also works in part because he knows that Ben-Hur doesn't have any levels of the mana shield.
Yeah.
Like, I think Ben-Hur, he's got a mango, but it's a pointless mango. I think though what happens is you swap, you allow your Deuce to go to this triangle farm, switch it around as Dendy hastes it up. RR just immediately gonna orb out, get out of there.
So this is gonna be, well, I thought it was gonna be you were talking about putting the puck into mid and just allowing your 4 position to get a little bit of core farm.
Yeah.
But Ben-Hur doesn't want to give up his mid lane just yet. Notice that Dendy hasn't actually gone to jungle hardly at all. He just continues to stay in lane.
He only has 2 levels of another toxin. I don't know how efficient that is.
Yeah.
Although they are smoked up. I think they're actually looking for Ben-Hur, who's working on the stack right now. And Radiant are actually going to scan this successfully. This Tidehunter's really fat right now.
Yeah.
They want nothing to do with him. He's got Vlad's. He wants to try to collapse onto this mid lane. Dendy, you can see that he's pushing it out, using the Nether Toxin on the ground. He's just going to start his assault on this tower. And what they want to do is, if Deuce is going to go jungle, you want to pressure this mid tower. You want to force somebody else here. Otherwise, you know, you're going to lose this tower, and then you start to place some aggressive vision. Like, I'm surprised that they didn't deward that ward that they have the Shrine.
Yeah.
Considering he placed it in vision. Yeah.
It's like a win-win rotation, right? You're either gonna get the pick off and then pressure the tower, or if nobody shows up, you're just gonna take the tower.
Yeah, this is a really good rotation by Velo. The downside though is that you're gonna give Skem some farm, and that's why Skem is kipping the creep wave at bottom because he wants to pressure this tower. But you're not really afraid of a safe lane Ember hitting a tower. That's not that much pressure. And he doesn't have solo kill potential like some sort of Juggernaut at 6 does. He just needs more farm than that. But he's gonna rotate up to top, and
they didn't even have enough kill potential between the 3 and 4 position at top to kill Raven during that time, even though they saw all 4 heroes.
Oh, I like this move by Raven. He's going to TP down bottom now. I think he sensed that the Ember rotated up to top because Sam H was just running at him.
Yeah.
So now he's going to have a free lane at bottom. No one can TP here that's really going to pressure him. You could send the Deuce down here, but she wants her own set of farm. And so this is going to put Tigers in a really good position.
And if somebody doesn't come, he may actually just take a tower himself, as he does have the meta up. Ben-Hur.
Oh, I like this. Sam H actually made the move down. Okay. He's just mirroring. It does mean that they're not going to put any pressure on Dendy mid.
Sandstorm not in a position to be able to actually stop this Terrorblade too much. We'll save the tower, it seems, as Raven just gets a couple more pot shots off.
Yeah, and they're running down here. They do have a sentry here, and Sam H is out of mana, so he's got to be careful about this. He's going to buy Arcane Boots to try to remedy that problem, and this bottom tower is almost certainly to fall.
Yo, this is crazy. They're actually taking that tower, and there's no... Like, Detonator rotated the Sand King down to bottom lane, but nobody can take that top lane tower for them. Not with Velo just kind of standing in the way with his big tanky Blast and Ravage ready to go. They're going to try and go for the kill now, seeing that full commitment, but just instantly cleanses off that stun. He can try and eat through the trees a little bit, get into the tower, and he still has a stick as well as maybe a Ravage if they overextend themselves, but he doesn't want to blow it.
You saw how much he lifestealed off of that?
Yeah.
Like 200 health. They do get a kill on Raven, surprisingly. Okay. No need for Epicenter either. That was actually just done with level 2 stun and 2 levels of the silence on the puck. Very surprised that they were able to execute that.
And now they've got Coil ready to go, so Puck can make another rotation if he wants. 14:37 trying to trace Ben-Hur as much as possible. Hoping to get a good glimpse, and it's going to be good enough to get Dendy on top of him. The Ravage are going to go down, catches the Medusa, stopping him from TPing out. Ember Spirit's going to be forced to defensively jump back to his Remnant. He will be able to at least pick up the bounty runes to refill his bottle and undo
Nice. Ben-Hur just needs more time. This 4-0 or this 4-4-0 build, no levels of the ulti, no levels of the mana shield. It's just greedy, and whenever you show up to lane, you're gonna get punished for it because they know that he's some 1000 HP Dusa that has no defensive abilities. He can't protect himself. Low base move speed too, 327 with treads. Like he's not getting out of that. Any engagement that he takes at this point, he's committed to, and you've got to be aware of that as Dusa. Like you just need more farm before you participate. If you go this build, you're not trying to push towers, you're not trying to defend towers, you're just trying to farm neutral camps. Like that's what this build does best.
The old Dusa with the 0-4-2 build could at least stand in front of these towers and say, well, I've got mana shield. It's going to take too much for you guys to actually bring me down. But this Dusa is so squishy.
The upside of having a hero like Tide as well is that you get to defend all the towers that you shouldn't get to defend.
Yeah.
You just park him in front. If you kill him, you don't really care because it takes so long to kill him anyways. And it allows your team, hopefully, enough time to rotate, like we saw at top.
Yeah.
With just a stick, he gets Anchor Smash off like once on a creep wave or 2 heroes. He's already up to like 1,000 health again.
$1,000 net worth lead right now for the Tigers. Large part of that is just the fact that they have taken 2 different towers, while Detonators have yet to be able to grab anything just yet. Sam H gets caught by the first Static Storm there, 1437. Good catch. And I mean, this is turning into one of those really ideal disruptor games. They're taking early towers, he's getting aggressive vision down, and his team has enough team fight that he can just play for charging forward and getting glimpses, knowing that Detonators can't really seem to fight them back yet.
Yeah. I mean, this Venge doesn't even have boots yet. She's all in on stacking camps for Ben-Hur. The job, though, for the Venge is very easy. You sit behind, you max your aura, you swap when your Medusa gets out of position. That's your life.
Did you see that from 1437?
No.
He saw his ward get denied on the high ground.
Yeah.
But he also saw, I think, that Venge didn't place the ward on the high ground himself. So he just smoked up, replaced that ward, and since they don't even have any high ground vision, they just assume there's no ward there now.
Oh, that's smart. That's really, really smart.
Earned for the Nature's Prophet, and now we are in big team fight territory with the Rod of Atos for the Viper. With the maxed out Nether Toxin, as well as a Tidehunter, I just can't see how Detonators are going to be able to beat this kind of team fight. They have a lot of damage between Puck, Sand King, and Ember Spirit. A lot of magic damage burst, but it seems like...
Look at Bello. Any tower is his to defend. Doesn't matter what it is. He just parks himself in front. There's no trade. But it does mean top has to get out. They've got to be careful. Zephyr's really far forward. He's definitely going to get punished for this.
Good catch by Skep.
If you see your Tide TP, like he has to call that like half a second earlier, so I'm TPing bot.
Yeah.
Just get out.
Raven just continues to totally free farm, but the Medusa, you know, she got ganked a couple times. Laning phase didn't go spectacularly, but is still just kind of neck and neck with Raven. That is the power of this no mana shield build. Didn't want to go for the Medusa there.
Does have the Atos.
A little bit surprising.
You think he pops everything he gets to kill?
Maybe.
It's close.
Level 1 mana shield.
I mean, he's got only Viper Strike level 1.
But at the same time, was it worth the risk? Maybe he didn't know how many allies were behind that Medusa. They're taking towers non-stop. Dendi, smart little play, pulling that creep wave over, making sure that Detonator can't even push in the mid lane while they go for this bottom.
Very good play.
Tier 3, just a little something to force them back, right? Oh. Raven almost got there in time for the deny. That would have been just another disaster for Detonators. So they're going to go back in here. Sam H catching 1437 off the TP. Double chains up the top with the Rod of Atos onto that Ember Sphere. Fortunately, got the Flame Guard off and doesn't
quite
take
have
a whole
the damage
lot of
anymore.
damage.
Bello's just walking in though. Does have the ulti.
Is going to be able to catch the 1437 one more time with a glimpse back at a TP away. He's going to be good. There goes that Ravage, locking down the Vengeful Spirit. Goes down, gets a Magic Missile off first. Now with that Epicenter slowing down Dendi, they really want this kill. They know that Dendi's been pretty farmed up through this game. They will be able to kill him. Bill actually coming over to try and help out his ally. Fortunately, he read the fact there was no more stuns left once the chains as well as the Burst Strike was used, so he is able to get away.
That was a really weird half commitment.
Yeah.
Behold!
Like,
a prize
Dendy kind of runs in. They don't really commit the Ravage. They kill the Venge, but like, who cares, right?
Yeah.
That's one of those deaths where if you're Venge, you're just like, whatever. Fly Solo's like, my life's not even, it's not even that worth. Like, his team fight contribution is to be able to use Wave of Terror, but part of that is that they initially went on the Ember Spirit, weren't able to burst him in the Atos timing.
Yeah.
And after that, they sort of just kind of like hemmed and hawed. They weren't sure really how they wanted to take the fight, and they kept getting split around. So then Velo was just like, all right, whatever, I'll use the Ravage. And they had already used the Static Storm from the Disruptor.
Oh, we got him. He'll keep the vision on Sam H and pull him back at the last second here.
They don't have Ravage.
Glimpse, or maybe
You can always just TP out. Like,
they don't really have the damage.
yeah, this is a pointless.
Wait, what? He's laying down more. He's really wants to catch him eventually.
Let's
We'll
just
be
TP.
able to pull him back with the Static Storm. Now the Gush, the TP out. Sam H is going to be fine.
Yeah, you're just
And
free
you
TP.
called it.
Just like, that's the problem. As soon as you use Glimpse there, you know he's not going to Ravage. Even if he
Yeah.
had it up, I think it really hurts your game. So it's a free out.
Not going to go for the full pipe for Velo. Actually thinking about going Blink Dagger before that. I'm a little bit surprised just because I feel like it's only the magic damage burst that can really beat Tigers in a team fight.
They need more control. You saw that in that last fight.
Yeah.
Him being able to get a good Ravage off, I think, is actually pretty key. This Viper's going to get mech soon. I think ideally they want to be pushing the pace right now, like doing stuff around the map.
Take the rest of these outer towers, pick up that Roshan, set yourself up for a late 20-minute timing for a second Rosh. Medusa still not falling too far behind the Terror Blade, despite the fact that Raven has been totally free farming. He's going to push back RR here, but he is going to be a little bit caught. And the rest of his team is way too far away. There's no way they can get to him in time. He's going to try and go for the Manta. Sunder can't actually get it. Zephyr actually completed that TP. The rest of the team is now here, and Detonators have definitely read that Velo is here, and they do not want to get caught by a big Ravage. Looks like they may just leave the Vengeful Spirit behind here. Who's going to try and duck into the trees, hide away, but is pulled back by the Glimpse. No chance of getting out.
I mean, he doesn't care. Every single time they trade like that, it's fine.
Yeah.
I think if they had Sam H there, they would have fought 100%. Then you can risk it, but Dusaw, by the way, ended up going for the Manta. I think for the Dispel on the TV Reflects.
Yeah.
Plus, it's just a good item. She's actually starting to get really farmed now.
Oh,
second in
Scam.
net worth.
Didn't quite make it up to the high ground. Not sure if it mattered, though. They do, that does reveal the fact that Detonator has a high ground ward, though. Saw the Tide ping it out. Fight time here at the top lane, potentially. They're just going to lead off the Static Storm, catching up Scam. Scam does not have the Flame Guard. They're going to throw down the Ravage. Can they burst it down in time? They are. Going to be able to do
Sam H
so.
is so
Sam H,
unlucky.
he already came in with the Epicenter, and now he's got to get out. He does have a Burrow Strike, and he's in the trees, so it'd be pretty tough to follow him.
He got caught while he's in the high ground there. He's going to go for the TP. Knows that there's no Glimpse. Easy out for him, but
What a great initiation from 1437, finding that angle. And sure enough, find the ward too.
and Raven going for a BKB early and pressuring a lot earlier than he did in the previous game. It's like he wants to take fights, does not want to get into a late game battle with this Dusa, who, you know, she's already level 15.
Yeah, that talent is a killer for high ground pushes.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
nice coil.
That is going to be coil snapping on a lot of people. And look at that. That AoE magic damage is doing so much work. 1437 as well as Dendy. Looks like they may be left behind. Wait, they have a stun? They don't have a stun. Dendy gets out. Oh, no. Blitz, they've got so many disables on that team, and not one of them was left over to stop a TP.
That was a really smart TP by Dendy. Just realizing, okay, there's nothing left for me. They've used the chains.
Bell does manage to snatch that bounty rune right in front of Sam H's face. does show off the fact he has that blink dagger.
Yeah, he's going back for the pipe now too. I think it's nice for the blink too to be able to get the anchor smash off on Medusa. Like, I think it's important for him to be able to like point blink her, get the anchor smash off, like even on the Ember Spear too, to be able to reduce his damage. It's actually so much. It makes a huge difference for both Sleight of Fist and the split shot.
Yeah. And then you've got like 3 very mobile, hard to lock down heroes in Puck, Sand King, and Ember Spirit. Pretty easy to dodge the Ravage when he's just kind of walking at you. But a Blink Ravage may make a difference. Zephyr's going to get picked off in the bottom lane. These sort of picks on these supports. Just happening non-stop as they fight for map control.
Man,
How do you see this going
massive.
late game, by the way?
Uh,
Can Dusa out-carry Terrorblade with a Tide?
I mean, it's like Ember Spear's a really nice core too in this game, ultra
Yeah.
late. I think their cores win out late, which is why I think this TP is going for BKB early. Like, he just wants to take fights, go man to BKB butter, run at people.
That BKB timing should be able to secure at least Roshan for Tigers and a high ground push.
Yeah. And they've got Greaves Pipe, which I think is a really big upgrade on their team. They have so many utility items, like, you'd be a fool not to try to end the game at a reasonable time.
Yeah. They're just going to reach that kind of awkward point, right, where Detonator's magic damage is no longer enough to burst people down, but their Deuce's physical damage isn't online yet.
Yeah. Our game, though, I mean, pace at least getting a lot slower here.
Yeah, it's 8-8, 22 minutes in. Very even net worth between the two teams. That's probably why they're playing so cautiously. One bad team fight. At this point, is there any moves that you want to see from either team? Like, it's probably okay that Detonators are playing pretty passive, just kind of split pushing, getting these small pickoffs. It's to their favor that these things happen, right?
Yeah, I think Detonators perfectly okay with this. They're like, oh, our Ember Spirit and our Deuce are getting absolute free farm. They're gonna hit their talent tree like much harder. I mean, the level 25 talent on Deuce, the 1,000 mana is so big.
Yeah.
On top of that, like, I mean,
This
even
is where this smoke gank has got to work out for Tigers. They're going to push into the high ground. They're going to find RR. Now, lock him down with a Static Storm. Good swap, though, from the Vengeful Spirit. Will be able to save. Trade out the 4 position for the 5.
I mean, they're saying, like, push out the lanes on the side of Sam H. And just saying, guys, they're all there. But it looks like with the commitment of this TV meta, like, they just want to go in. Going in for Roshan right now. They have all their spells. It's going to be a 4-on-5. They're going to find 1437 first. It's getting quite low, 80 HP to him.
Can they get into Roshan before it dies? It's a 4 versus 4 now. They are going to be able to get the gaze out. Medusa just running inside. Doesn't actually run inside the pit. Ravage goes down and they will be able to pick up that Aegis. Raven now locked down. Okay, managed to pop the Bandit to get rid of that Rod of Eight. Tosa in the back line. The Ember Spear trying to finish off that Viper. Ben-Hur completely out of mana though and being chased by Velo. RR jumps right on top of that Tidehunter trying to get away from Raven. And it looks like this Sand King will fall here. Furion still looking for a teleport somewhere. Decides against it.
I mean, that wasn't the worst that it could have gone for Detonator. Their Juicer walking in the middle of everything. Does manage to get out, but the bigger prize in the Aegis, they had to commit the buyback from the Disruptor. So the gold change is relatively even, but of course the Aegis is the bigger prize.
It is an Aegis for Terrorblade, which is not one of the best Aegis heroes out there.
It's more that you're also taking it away from Detonator in this game, because I don't think you can kill Deucer twice.
Yeah, that would definitely be a big problem.
Yeah.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Bounties coming up. Tigers sweeping down to the bottom half of the map to secure at least 2. They still want to
1437?
defend their mid tower as well, though. Which is where that push is coming in from the Medusa. Swap back and fly solo. Tries to get the pick off onto Denki.
Nice
He's going to be
ulti.
saved by the Static Storm, though. 1437 getting this lockdown on Sam H. Now, Sam H is super tanky, so he will be able to burrow strike back and still have decent HP until that glimpse comes in. Now the swap back, he just gets zapped all over the place, but will be able to escape once again. Fly solo continues to sacrifice himself for the good of his allies. Skem, seeing everybody's a bit low, tries to get a bit more damage in. Looks like he missed out on the slight change, maybe.
Top lane, RR just pushing out this lane. In Fly Solo's life is pretty much forfeit every single time. He just walks in, does one swap, they don't quite get out. He's like, I'll do it again then.
You definitely see the support dynamic for Detonators. RR, we saw him play Shadow Shaman so many times, he was always super farmed. And we're seeing in this game, Fly Solo, he's definitely willing to play the 6 so that RR can play more of a core support role. The extra Sandstorm DPS, so that is kind of a scary teamfight talent if you didn't have a pipe on the side of Tigers. But they're very resistant to all this magic damage, both
It's
the
better
Viper
than
as
the
well as the
50
pipe.
epicenter attacks though.
Yeah, for sure.
As Raven does have his BKB now with the DD.
Okay, Yules just to be able to dispel that DD and make sure that if Raven does go for high ground, he can't do too much. Full Mjolnir is the build for Skem.
I'd imagine he's just getting this so that he makes his Dusa in a way tankier. You just drop it on her.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tanky in the sense that like you're
Dire's
dissuading
bottom tower is under
people from
attack.
going on her, and if they do hit her incidentally, she's got such a big HP pool that you're essentially just giving her a radiance, right? You're just gonna keep taking damage over time. It's good against the illusions. As coil is used here, and the snap.
This is the first time that we've seen the coil swap. That's going to be a very important combo when defending high ground.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Especially
attack.
for how little like Fly Solo's
Dire's
life in this game
structures
matters.
are
He'll just always do that.
Yeah.
He'll just keep making that trade.
Plate mail for the Vipers, so we're going to see another Lotus Orb game.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
There's a lot of pings right now saying take this tower, but with TV TPing in, I imagine they want to get out. 1437 isn't going to find Fly Solo. Who for once is going to live.
Well, they saw the rotation, and that leaves the rest of the map free for them to take. Oh. I swear, the level 15 talent for Medusa, and now the level 20 talent as well. It's just so hard to push high ground into that. Just 2 snakes and everybody's mana's gone.
Yeah, the low snake cooldown talent is pretty insane. And they're pinging right now. They're like trying to find this ward. They know it's somewhere. Might just actually cost them lives here. Zephyr, aggressive TP and Fly Solo.
Pushes himself up onto the high ground here. But again, as you said, Vengeful Spirit's line doesn't matter that much. Now, RR's line is worth a little bit of prettier penny. He's going to be locked down for the Rod of Tosi. He will be able to jump to his orb, but he didn't jump to the other side of that cliff. And now, will be able to get the blink away before the damage ticked in from the Nether Toxin.
Well
He
done.
was facing the right direction, so well played by RR.
Yeah, they got some pressure out on the side lanes. You see that Sam H is already running towards bottom. Opting to entirely skip the Blink Dagger. He was one of the first people that I saw do this build.
Oh yeah, the tanky Sand King build, I remember that.
It's so that you're not just like a Blink epicenter
Radiant's top
kind of
tower
guy.
is
I
under
saw
attack.
Moo like take that to the next. He was like going drums and stuff. I believe in you, Sam H. He's had every single one of his epicenters canceled, but still believe. I guess he's
Tide Hunter.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean,
You
he's
think
not
about
close
that,
to it.
because he could have, you know, he's level 18. He did go for the experience talent, so he's going to close in on 25 pretty quickly. He could have thought about trying to go for a damage build on Tide. Do you like the initiation of Blink Scythe better?
It pressures the Ember Spirit, I think, which is the important part.
Yeah.
Like,
I
they
mean, right
probably
now,
just need
part of
more
the problem
lockdown.
is all the split push that's happening, right?
Yeah. You're getting reasonably close to the Deuce at level 25 talent, by the way.
Yeah. What are we at? Level 21?
It's actually pretty good for 30 minutes in.
That timing of Scotty and level 25 talent is such a big power spike. I'm getting pretty concerned. You know, this game started off looking pretty good for Tigers. Felt like they had a slight lead, but it's just being chipped away every minute that we watch. That no kills are really happening, and Detonators are getting more and more farms.
I mean, Detonator for sure is feeling really good. Their Ember's huge, their Deuce is huge. And so we're going to get a push into this mid lane. It's 14:37. I mean, they just deny each other sentry wards, essentially.
Seriously though, how do you go into that? Not only the Mystic Snake, but you're pushing into a Sandstorm that's doing like 150 DPS. You've got a coil swap at any time, which looks like RR is going to try and catch somebody here.
Probably doesn't want that guy.
No, they want someone else in the back line, not this Tidehunter.
Nope.
And it looks
Coil
like,
snap.
well, they caught Dendy, but Dendy's also quite tanky and hard to bring down quickly.
They wanted to take that fight because they know that the Terrorblade is the top, but there's just no fun targets to go on.
Yeah.
Like Viper and Tidehunter are not the heroes that you would want to have found.
Finally, Blink Dagger is up for Sam H.
Radiant's
It looks
top
like
tower
he's
is
going to
under
go back
attack.
for the Guardian Greaves after that, seeing as they don't have one on their team. Doesn't hurt. That's going to be the final tier 2 tower for
Radiant's top tower has
Tigers to
fallen.
take. And I guess now we're just waiting on Roshan.
And
Oh,
bottom lane,
bottom lane.
Zephyr. Getting pretty low here.
TP's mass, TP's coming in. Scam still trying to get that kill. Goes for the slight and jump back to the Remnant.
I mean, that's a pretty tanky Nature's Prophet. He's got full Crimson Guard himself. Has a Midas and a Spirit Vessel. He's got a lot of HP, good amount of armor and tank. He's taken the 10 armor talent too. This is not a weak Nature's Prophet.
No.
Yeah, both teams just postured for farm this game. Ben-Hur, he's probably telling his team, like, I'm finally sort of ready to fight, guys.
Ember Spirit was already going for Linken's. I don't know if that's because he saw the ultimate orb on Tide, knew the Scythe was coming, or if he just wanted some way to deal with Glimpse better, but...
It's nice, right? It stops Glimpse,
Yep.
stops the Rod of Atos.
But I don't see a way Tide's going to be able to catch him.
Oh.
As it is. Scam. Oh, got pushed out. Is going to be able to Remnant on top of Zephyr, and with the Yules. Stops him once again. We did have a coil coming out. They're going to get +1 here as 1437 drifts a little bit too close, and RR looking to be able to snatch that one up now. 1437
One
has
slight.
no real way to get out of here.
And they're
so.
pinging mid too.
Whoa.
They're saying, go on, Dendy.
Tigers, what is happening? One pickoff turns to 2. Is it going to be 3, or is it going to be a massive turnaround as the Ravage goes down onto 2 on top of another Toxin, Sam H. Another Toxin pursuing him out. Fortunately, he is so tanky, he'll have a chance he'll be able to survive until the Tide catches up again with another round of Anchor Smash. Now, that was the Ravage used, and it is not going to be a high ground push for Tigers, obviously. They lost too many heroes in exchange. In fact, they're the ones losing an objective right now is Skem. He doesn't care.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
And RR has found Dendy. They're just messing around with each other as Dendy throws out the Rod of Atos, face shift dodges. Detonator can't really kill this Tidehunter, and that's kind of forcing to be a problem. Like, he just sort of sits in front of towers, doesn't allow them to push out. It makes it hard for them to punish, too, in situations where somebody, like, solo TP's up there. Like, normally you're able to kill whoever gets there, but in this game, he just parks himself up front, continues to be this big watermelon. Nobody messes with him.
But is it really a problem when Scam just like casually walks past the Tidehunter and says, see you later, I'll go catch the next creep wave?
I mean, the hope is that you can kill the back line and then you can do some one-on-5 shenanigans.
Yeah.
But they're going to smoke up.
Oh, this is the first aggressive move that we've seen from Detonators in a while. And they've got to be feeling pretty confident with this timing. They may not have the level 25 on Medusa, but they do have that Scotty.
Gonna run into 1437 first. The rest of his team in the back line. Dendi.
Oh, the Bro Strike whiffs there from Sam H. Despite the vision that they had, they also didn't get a good coil out. What happens here, Detonators? They got into what was supposed to be a good fight, and it turns into disaster for them.
The buyback from 1437. He's gonna collapse to the rest of his team. They committed meta for this too. So I think they might just want to go into Roshan if they can. There's 2 heroes dead on the side of Detonator. Sam H doesn't have buyback even if he wanted it. And just an awkward engagement. They were under the shrine. Dusa was on the low ground.
I mean, they had vision and everything. They should have been like, totally planned this out.
Yes, that should have been an easy engagement for them.
Let's get the 2-man coil swap back, or let's get the 2-man burrow strike or something. They just with so many abilities there on what should have been a clean initiation.
Low.
Ben Hurricane still sitting on the front line, so here with the BKB, and that meta is going to run out soon.
Scam trying to catch.
Definitely big one. Scam just dives right in, trying to catch as many heroes as possible, and as they turn, there goes the Stone Gaze. Ben Hurricane continues to pursue Dendi. His damage is not great with the Crimson Guard, but eventually, oh, never mind. With the Ravage going out, they're quickly going to turn on this Medusa, who pops the Manta, still trying to finish off Dendi, who's still somehow alive, but Scam will be able to kill one, but our Medusa is quickly falling as the Scythers are controlled up. There's just too many heroes up. Tigers commit heavily for this fight, but it's a massive win. They had to buy back for some of this, but being able to secure this Roshan 2, we're talking about needing to end the game, having this Aegis and Cheese is all important.
They just have to ignore this Tidehunter. It makes it so hard. They just can't get through this guy.
Yeah.
When they try to pursue on the high ground, Tigers, they just have such tanky cores. Like you saw that Dendi was low for such a long time. Now he's got a Cheese to work with too. It's not going to make this any easier.
It feels like they just, saw these low HP heroes and they just got enticed into pursuing when they didn't need to, right? Meta had already been popped. As soon as you force the enemy team away from Roshan, then you control that area.
I think the Achilles heel right now for them, for Detonators, like their Sand King doesn't do anything. He's sort of tanky, but not really. Like he still dies quite easily, and he doesn't deal any damage, and they're not afraid of really anything that he does.
Yeah.
They have multiple ways to cancel his ulti. They can just kind of walk away from it too. He's not finding initiations. This like tank build's cute, but it's not like it's keeping his Dusa alive, and they need more lockdown from him.
Is there some sort of lockdown item that you would have preferred to see for him?
I think he should have just gone Blink earlier.
Yeah.
Like, going for this build,
just play a more active tempo game.
Yeah, you saw in mid, like he sat there in Sandstorm. They didn't really care.
Yeah.
3 cores just chased him down, killed him in like 2 seconds. He had to run the entire time, and that's never a good sign. Whereas Velo just gets to be in the middle of every fight. He just parks himself in the middle of fights. He's like, come pass through me.
Really reducing everybody's damage with that anchor smash, and he almost has the level 25, so soon he's going to be hitting real hard with that 250 damage talent. If he chooses to take it, I guess he's got a size, so maybe the cooldown reduction is actually not out of question.
25 CD reduction on Hex usually means that you get like 2 or 3 Hexes off in a fight.
Yeah, that would actually be real sick. I like that idea a lot. Back to a 2,000 net worth lead for Tigers, but they're also the ones with Aegis and Cheese. But they, again, we talked about it like 20 minutes ago. We knew this was going to come into a high ground defense game, and it is a toughie. Not an easy game to go high ground into. Fortunately, the support Furion will make sure that at least some of the split push that happens from Detonators will be quelled.
Yeah, but they want to go high ground with this. They committed buybacks. They've got Aegis. They've got Cheese. They know their Tidehunter's an unkillable beast at this point.
Sleight of fist charges for the Ember Spirit with a Daedalus now.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
We saw how when Raven's Terrorblade last series was having a little bit of issues with damage. That Daedalus timing did make quite a big difference for him. And sure enough, it is the 25% CDR for Velo.
And I think they just want to park themselves behind Raven, allow him to hit these towers. Scam. Trying to put pressure on these side lanes as much as he possibly can.
Is under attack.
They know there's a timer. They've got another, what is it, like 2 minutes to work with before the Aegis fades?
Yeah. But I don't see like an obvious solution that's happening.
The seeds of fortune.
From right now, where we saw them kind of try and poke at high ground, but it looks kind of difficult. And 2 minutes from now, it seems like it's all going to be kind of the same.
Yeah. This game becomes really complicated once Dusa hits her 25. Then she'll actually be really, really tough to kill at that point.
So if you love the Furion, because he's so easily hunted down by Skem, he can't deal with the split push by himself. So we're going to have a Boots of Travel on Tidehunter. So now he can go back, defend some of these side lane pushes, and still join his team for the high ground. Looks like we have kind of a setup here. Not sure what Sam H is doing. Kind of wandering around in that mid lane earlier. But there it is, 1,000 mana. Oh, that's going to be tough to beat. They are going to be able to catch out Fly Solo. That Force Staff will definitely not save him.
If you're Ben-Hur, you're trying to get that Mystic Snake Mana Steal onto that Terror Blade. They've got a lot of Arcane Boots, though. And there's a Hex on this Nature's Prophet, too. Oh.
Okay, nice. Using the Sprout to be able to pop the Lincolns and get that disable onto Skem. But Skem realizes he doesn't need to fight. He just needs to try and cut the creep waves. As long as he doesn't die, Velo not going to go for the Ravage here. Feeling like maybe he didn't have enough damage or something.
He's going to catch him with the TP.
Oh, Zephyr actually got right on top of him. Another Remnant away. Skem. That Scythe is not going to be up in time.
Oh, that was so close. I think if you commit the Ravage there, it's a kill for sure.
Yeah.
Pretty long cooldown though, 100 seconds, and it probably wastes the Aegis timer. I think if you weren't planning on using the Aegis timer right now, you might as well do that.
Sure.
Then you fake going to the high ground, you've got BKB so you can get out if they overcommit, like if Skem buys back and they try to go in.
Yeah.
I think that's like a win-win situation for you, because I mean at this rate, yeah,
it would give you a one-team fight win condition, right?
Yes.
We kill that Ember Spirit once. Instead of right now, it's like a slog. We have to win a team fight, take a Rax. Win a team fight, take another Rax.
Yeah, the TB doesn't have the Aegis now, but does have buyback. 7k gold on him. And they're rooting around the area right now. It's Ben-Hur trying to get the mana drain, and does so successfully. That actually steals such an absurd amount.
Velo cannot afford to get hit by another one of those.
So the illusions get cleared out. The MKB fully bought out by the Stusa, not even trying to save for buyback at this point.
Solar Crest will help a lot when focusing somebody down like this Medusa.
And the Hex on the Dusa, they're just trying to get the tower.
Radiant's bottom tower.
They do that much, so at least they'll be able to get some shrines.
Radiant's bottom shrine is under attack.
It's going to be a free shrine for them. So there's going to be no sort of response from the side of Detonator, predictably, and it's a 9k gold lead. Honestly, I'm surprised that Fly Solo even had money for an urn. Like, I don't know what he's planning on doing with this urn.
How is he going to get charges?
Yeah, this is like the
He's
most
the first one
ambitious-
that dies every time.
This is like you cross your fingers and you're like, I
Radiant's
hope
bottom
this urn
barracks are under
one
attack.
day pays off.
There's no way your afterlife spirit collects the urn charges, right?
Yeah, absolutely not.
I don't-
this
there's
is
no way that's a
this
thing.
is like an optimistic. This is the most optimistic urn I've ever seen. It's like I don't know what he's hoping for here.
It's the buyback
Radiant's
urn.
top
Yeah.
shrine is under
He's going to die.
attack.
He's going to swap, die. He's going to buy back, run into the fight, and someone.
Like
someone
I've
on the
seen,
enemy
I've seen
team's
the
gonna
last 14 fights. Like I know how I can already tell him how this story
Radiant's
goes.
top shrine has fallen.
Man, you're not gonna live.
Okay, that's one side. Another side, RR tries to come in, disrupt things, and Epicenter actually going down. They baited out Skem, and maybe they can turn things around at least to be able to kill the Furion here. Velo kind of seems out of the question so far, but the Furion is definitely a pickoff. Now they could just get out, use all that mobility to be able to get away, unless Sam H gets caught by the glimpse. So it will be a trade-off. That's a core for a support trade-off, but it did force everybody from Tiger's back.
I mean, it is a core for a support in that sense, but if you just look at the net worths, like it's not really, it doesn't really work out like that.
Yeah.
That's a core for a core, as far as I'm concerned. At this
It
point.
actually is. I did not realize that Furion was 5,000 net worth ahead of Sam H.
Yeah, that's a core for a core. That's fine. I'm about that.
Shiva's soon for the Viper. They'll have,
Look at
okay.
that, my soul is dead. Took like 3 seconds. It's the reverse earn. The more times you die.
Will the 25 talent on Viper make a difference? You'll have the Nether
Oh, the
Toxin
Nether Toxin
silences.
silences is
That's
sick.
good, real good against Ember.
Yeah, it's really, really good against Ember. It's that bottom lane, look at this. 1437. If they can catch him out here, he's so far out in no man's land, but they don't have a BKB piercer.
Manifield doesn't actually latch, but he can still get the glimpse in. BKB TP out. I mean, at least he got something.
Yeah, it's a 9-second BKB forced out. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
No.
Like they're, I think they're semi-okay with that trade.
1437. Coiled up again, just like last time. Velo may be there, but they're just going to ignore him, kill the support, get out. Oh, and our puck is actually almost level 25. He'll start turning into a core real quick if he gets that 420 GPM.
Yeah, everyone's starting to turn 25.
Scam.
Making their way up.
Manage to dodge that Rod of Atos.
I like it. They're trying to connect to Scam right now. With the Disruptor dead, he's trying to force them over here. He's going to get
with a sprout. Good play from Zephyr. That's going to be side 1. Ravage out, and finally, Scam, who had been causing issues this entire game, when it comes to split pushing and just being such a mobile hero, finally they do manage to catch him out.
The thing about that is they could have done that bottom too and gone high ground with Aegis.
Yeah. It's only the second death for Skemberlu.
Yeah. And Aegis is up with the refresher this time on the Tidehunter. This is double Hex, double Pipe, double Ravage. This is nice.
Double Shivas?
Yeah.
Are they both getting Shivas? I thought I saw Dendi. Yeah, Dendi
got
also
his.
is going to build.
All right.
Roshan has fallen to the dungeon.
So now Velo has that refresher. There's really nothing that stops him from getting it off either. There's no Doom. What are the spells that are good against it? Doom, Static Storm.
Static Storm.
Faceless Void Chrono. Nothing like that for him to have to contend with. There's no AoE silence on the ground. There's just a lot of stuns, which he's really good against.
Yeah.
You're not popping this watermelon twice.
So here it comes, the big high ground push that we've been waiting for pretty much all game. It's
They want to
finally
force
going
the
to happen
buyback
here.
Dyer's bottom tower.
But with
15
18
seconds. Detonators may just have to give up a lane of Brax if they want to hold this buyback on the Ember Spirit. Raven actually takes a good amount of damage from that Medusa.
That's why he
Heals
pops
up with the Satanic, goes in again.
I'd like them to also pressure this bottom lane. That'd make this a lot easier for them. Just going into one lane makes it super simple for Detonators to be able to defend this as the puck's going to TP out. A little bit too late on that.
Trying to catch Scam, will be able to get one side into the second one. The Yule Scepter goes off, actually making sure the Ravage doesn't go down. Nice two-man Burrow strike in the back line by Sam Age. Going to be activated. Static Storm goes out, but the BKBs are already in. Velo is going to be able to get off the Ravage, get swapped back into his death. Raven standing tall with that Metamorphosis, but his damage, he can't really lay it into the Medusa. She's too tanky. Now the Epicenter's going to come in and make sure the backline, again, always
Velo
going for the
refreshes.
switchy backline. The Ravage goes in from Velo. Raven is now able to kill another support. The scores, they have to kill Sam H at the bare minimum. They will be able to do that much. Asunder onto Ben-Hur, brings Raven back up to full HP, now with Glimpse as well. More staff into the high ground. Good play from Ben-Hur, and now he's hitting from that high ground. Raven is pursuing all the way, really needs to be able to kill this Dusa, but he's getting dodged up too much. There's too many stuns for him. He's laying the damage now into
The silence.
It finally worked. The Nether Toxin 25 talent makes sure that Skemberlu can knock it away as the Ember Spirit. He's going to be forcing the buyback with a two-man stun. Once again, Satanic activated. They're controlling up Raven, making sure he can't life steal. Even the Spirit Vessel being laid in to make sure he doesn't life steal that much. Yule Scepter on himself allows the puck to be able to survive. Finally, it's going to be the Aegis. Two-man Burrow strike in his backline again. There's going to be Denny as well as 1437, who are both going to die here. A stun onto Raven, make sure he can't TP out. That's going to be 2 deaths for him. An Aegis, a refresher shard, a cheese. It doesn't seem to matter. Detonators are still able to make
the
the
buyback
big
on the
hold.
Tidehunter.
At 15 minutes with a dieback on Tide, it is looking like this game has thoroughly turned around. Detonators wipe Tigers and can now push for the high ground, forcing those buybacks.
They lost nothing there. They had to use the buybacks, but no racks were taken. Only a tier 3 tower? That was the buyback committed on the Tidehunter. You see Dendi already commit his. He's like, there's no way that you might as well start the timer now.
Yeah.
There's no point in waiting for it because they know Tide doesn't have buyback.
And is it even possible for them to hold this without the Tide?
They won't have Tide, they won't have Disruptor, they know about both of those buybacks. They know at best it's a 3-on-5.
And Meta is still down for 40 seconds as well. Detonators, they could just hit tier 3 and go straight for throne.
Yeah, and the buyback is committed from the Terrorblade. And what an impossible
Here comes
position.
that Divine Rapier too. They are all in on the damage now for Ben-Hur. Loaded up, going to the high ground. Sam H starts laying in with Bro Shrike locked down onto 2. Dendi trying to get back to the ground, actually turning. He's going to go for RR with the Yule Scepter again.
Get on buyback, it's over!
Dendi, he's dead as well. No buybacks whatsoever. Tigers, they have lost this. Detonators have completed the comeback. They defended the high ground long enough, and then one false sweep straight to the throne is all it takes for this game 1.
Wow, what a turnaround. I can't actually believe they lost this game as Raven, I mean, he's trying to get in the middle of them.
But he knows he can't stop the damage on throne. What a big win for Detonators here in this initial series.
That was Velo's only 2 deaths of the game, by the way. It was when he got caught out right there and when he went for the dieback, that was the only 2 times he died that game. That was the only real mistake that he made. And I don't even know if I can really blame him for that mistake because, I mean, he was trying to end the game. He's like, I have to protect Raven, who's probably going to have to buy back anyways, so I'll use my buyback. And then the unthinkable happened where they just all died.
One crazy team fight is all it came down to, but Detonators are now 1 game up over Tigers for this best of 3 finals. Where will it go from here? We'll have to see as we go back to the panel.
Thank you very much, Cap. Gee, that escalated pretty quickly, boys. First of all, I'd like to welcome Mr. Crowley. Can I get a round of applause? Welcome to the panel, sir.
Thank you.
Am I audible? Get that a little bit higher there for me. Grand. Right. What did you think of that game?
I think Tigers had that game for some time and then they overextended into the Radiant high ground. But yeah, stuff happens in Dota. It happens with every team, so.
Cool. What did you think?
I honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused as well. That's why I'm asking you guys. I genuinely thought Tigers had that.
Yeah.
From nearly the start. It felt like they always had like control over the game. They were doing great. And then it just slipped away with an overextension.
Well, I think they kind of noticed, or Detonator kind of noticed at one point, this team is Raven, is Raven +4, you know? And then they kill everyone around Raven because it was easier. And then they deal with Raven last. He has no catch, nothing to actually stop him, so it worked out for them just because of that.
Yeah, actually, Ember and Puck, they knew they could kite the game around with, like, they only have Ravage and Static Storm to catch these heroes, and that's why we saw, like, Tidehunter going Hex and NP also farming the Hex with the cooldown reduction talents.
Yeah.
So their game relied on picking off Ember and Puck in usual places in the map and they're split pushing. That's when we saw Detonator at one point of the time bait the Ember Spirit at top. So I think they were also trying to force the Ravage before they take a fight, and then like take fights. That's when they smoked and went Roshan. So it's one of the good moves that Detonator did, I feel.
So you've played a lot against both of these teams. Maybe if you could tell us a little bit about maybe the strengths and weaknesses of both sides and how you think they'll match up against each other.
I'll start with Detonators. I think they usually pick very strong lanes. And they usually snowball from the laning phase with some TB and Morphling type of drafts. But this game, what was different is the NP wrecked the top lane of Sand King and Puck, I believe. And they lost the bottom lane also with Tide having like a 7-minute Vlad or something. So they basically lost 3 lanes and only Medusa was having a smooth game. So they kited around really well and they went for good in general, the good decision making was very good from DTN side, I feel.
Okay. Looking forward to the next game. What would you like Tigers to change in their gameplay?
I think they need to ban out the DTN heroes. Their mid and carry both play Ember Spirit. Puck is also position 4 and position 3 hero for them. So Puck, Sand King, all these type of heroes, if they they're not being able to catch them, then it's going to be a problem for them. So they need some sort of catch to deal with them, or they're just going to pick a hard carry again and do the same.
I think they left. They didn't hear that. That's unfortunate. Unfortunate stuff. All right, guys. Do you have any final words maybe to say to Indian fans?
I've been asked to put my mic towards my mouth. Wait, you go for it.
Well, oh.
Yeah.
Why is it silent?
Thank you, Indian fans. It's so nice to be here in India. Your
Well,
Dota
like,
is.
I wasn't talking to you at all. But, you know, all these guys come out to see you guys play. When you were playing, they were incredibly biased. It was great to see, honestly. You know, the Indian fans cheering for it. Like, you guys would, like, use a smoke and they'd cheer, you know what I mean? So, like, do you have any shout-outs to the guys?
Yeah, like shout out to everyone who came here and supported us. The crowd made it really easy for us to spot Roshans and stuff, but we still messed up. But still, yeah. Shout out to everyone who came to the event, and I hope you guys keep supporting us for future games.
Cool, man. With that, we'll take a 10-minute break, and we'll be back with Game 2 of the Grand Finals of Cobx Masters.